This is something delicate, but I would like to keep to proper etiquette. They planned the ideal that man can acquire the highest amount of physical sensuous pleasure if woman is shown naked of her clothes. This was one conspiracy. If you read the books of the Victorian age on the history of culture, you will find there photographs of that age, the women of that age. Those women folk used to dress as our best ladies actually dress. Long kurtas or long frocks going right up to the ankles. A full apron covering their head and their breasts. Full sleeves. That was the Victorian dress. Now when this conspiracy was hatched, after that started the age of fashions. And here I may say in passing that when I visited France and Paris for the first time, I was a young man at that time, it was long ago, so I searched out the houses of fashion in Paris. I went there personally. I wanted to investigate that anybody whom you meet and who is doing something curious, wearing some curious dress or doing something curious, when you ask him, he says, this is fashion. So I wanted to go to that place where these fashions are created. And to my amazement, in all the houses of fashion in Paris, I found that they were run by men and not by women. The fashions for the women folk are planned and designed by the men and not by the women. So it is a conspiracy. And the conspiracy took this shape. It must have started with one man and with one woman. Everything starts like that. Humanity started with one man and one woman. So, in Europe there was the system of courtship. Now in Victorian age, system of courtship was this, that the suitor will never sit with that girl for whom he came. He will only sit with the family members of that girl. That was the etiquette of Victorian age all over Europe and America. Then the rule was relaxed. He can sit in the home with that girl whom he wants to marry. Then the rule was further relaxed, that he can take the girl out with him on an outing while her parents are away and both of them are just by themselves. Then this rule was further relaxed, that he cannot only take out that girl with him in the outings in the evenings, but also midnight. That was one prong. The other was the suitor or the one who had to court the hand of a certain girl in marriage. He came one evening to his fiancée and said, look here, I love you very much and I would like to marry you, certainly. I won't marry any other girl. You are so pretty and handsome and you are so good. But you see, in this long Victorian frock, you look like a grandma. This doesn't look nice. You must look a bit more dynamic. You must look a bit more dynamic and more progressive. This is our conservatism, isn't it? So the poor girl scratched her head. That was the most vital problem for her to please her future husband. She said, anything I can do for you? He said, yes, you are a good girl. Take a pair of scissors and cut down half of your frill. Expose your legs to the half. So, to please him, she did that. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. And he asked her again to cut that frill up to the knees. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. Then he asked her to cut half the sleeves. Then she asked again the same question and he answered the same way. Then she said, what should I do? He said, cut all your sleeves for me. Bare your arm and bare your legs to the knees. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. Cut your collar off. And he cut the collar off. Now, this is historical process. This is historical process in terms of dress. This has happened in history. Year after year, the fashion has changed in this fashion. Then when she has put on her collar also, she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. She said, what should I do? He said, open your breast from here. She did that. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. She said, what should I do? He said, wear a mini skirt. Cut it above the knees, halfway. Wear a mini skirt. Then she asked, do I look pretty? He said, yes, 90%. 10% job still remains. Make this truncated frock of yours very tight, so that whatever part of the body has been covered, you may look perfectly immodest. And that will be the grandeur of your personality as a woman. And you will be accepted. Poor girl, she did all that. Then she was divorced. After marriage, some other person came in her way. She was young, she wanted to marry again. So she spoke to the other friends. Do I look pretty? He said, yes, you do. But you seem to be very conservative. This mini skirt is very conservative dress. You should wear the bottomless and you should wear the topless until you become absolutely naked. Then you will look handsome. This is the tragedy played on womanhood in the West. And as I said, because woman is dependent on man, on the husband, poor woman has been doing all this. And what is the consequence? In spite of doing all this, and in spite of all this exploitation, what man was doing, he did not cut his pants. He did not remove his coat. He continued to put on his hat. He continued with his tie and his bow, with his jacket and all those things. Alert. He did not do it. Only the woman was made naked. And he went beyond that in utter blasphemy. He said, look here, woman. Look here, ye women, if you want to remain alive and to have some prestige in our eyes as men, then we are going to exploit you for selling our commodities at the counter. So any businessman who wanted to increase his sales brought a girl to stand there at the counter. If that was not enough, when they designed the advertisements, the picture of the woman was used, not of man. The picture of woman was used, put on the roadsides, put in the newspapers, put in the magazines, half naked, or in some such posture where man can feel pleased in his basest motives. This, my dear sisters and daughters, is this modern Western civilization and the status of woman in the modern Western society. The big tragedy is this, that when any deviation takes place between man and a woman, it is only the personality of the woman that is hurt and man goes scot-free. That is the worst part of it. So, in the modern Western society, and according to the modern Western culture, woman has been reduced to a toy for the pleasure of man. And she has been dehumanized. She is not a human. She is only a toy. And the last thing then, not to imitate it.